Patrick Hutzel from Intensive Care at Home, where we provide tailor-made solutions for long-term ventilated adults and children with tracheostomies, and where we also provide tailor-made solutions for hospitals in intensive care units whilst providing quality services for long-term ventilated adults and children and medically complex patients at home, including home TPN, home IV potassium infusions, home BiPAP, CPAP, as well as IV antibiotics. We also provide palliative care services at home, as well as port management, central line management, peak line management, treatments line management. Now, in today's blog, I do want to talk about how can you make a safe transition from intensive care to a home care environment with a tracheostomy and a PEG tube. Now, case in point, we're currently working with a client who has their loved one in ICU, they have their mother in ICU with a tracheostomy and a PEG tube, and the hospital or the ICU was adamant that she can go home just with the daughter and quote unquote train the daughter to look after her from intensive care going home. Now, we advise strictly against that because, you know, taking someone from intensive care with a tracheostomy and a PEG tube home and the daughter being the main carer and basically taking over what is happening in an intensive care unit is sheer madness, and it jeopardizes lives, and people have died because of that, but I'll come to that later. So we strictly advised against that, but the hospital and the daughter thought they could give it a shot. We said, well, their mother is either going to die at home or she's going back into ICU within less than 24, 48 hours because, you know, she needs intensive care, or she needs intensive care at home. And of course, the mother went home, and within less than 24 hours, the daughter had to call an ambulance because the oxygen levels were going down. She ended up back up in ICU just as we predicted. Now, intensive care at home, we've been in business now for over 10 years, plus intensive care at home services have been around in Germany for over 25 years. You know, there's a proven path to how to set up intensive care at home. There's a proven path to how to safely transition patients from intensive care to a home care environment when they are either ventilated, have a tracheostomy, have a PEG tube, need TPN, you know, what I mentioned in the beginning, you know. And you can only make that happen with critical care nurses 24 hours a day in a home care setting by bringing the intensive care into the home, right? Those critical care nurses need to have a minimum of 2 years critical care nursing experience. Well, here at Intensive Care at Home, we employ hundreds of years of intensive care and critical care nursing experience in the community, which is unmatched by other service providers. We are also the only service that has third-party accreditation for intensive care at home. Again, that is unmatched by anyone in Australia, the US, or the UK, as far as my research has gone. So when you go home from intensive care, you know, with tracheostomy, with a PEG tube, with a ventilator, it needs to be evidence-based, just like treatment in intensive care is evidence-based, right? It's not any different in a home care environment. And when people go home, they need to go home according to the mechanical home ventilation guidelines, which are evidence-based. We have published them on our website. And again, you need to have a critical care nurse with a minimum of 2 years critical care nursing experience, 24/7, 24 hours a day, to take the patient home from intensive care safely and keep them home predictably, right? Our clients do not go back to ICU because we can keep them at home predictably all day, every day, right? Because of the skills, the intellectual property we've built, you know, and the teams we've built to make that happen, you know, on a day-by-day basis. So, you know, some ICUs still have no understanding what needs to happen in the community and how the interface works between intensive care and the community. Some ICUs have no idea about what's evidence-based in the community, what's necessary to provide quality standards, right? Some ICUs still have the only goal to get patients out as quickly as possible. And obviously, a lot of families are believing everything that comes from hospitals. Well, you know, if you do that, you better start doing your own research before you sign up for anything where you blindly run towards the fire, which is what's happened in this situation here. You know, if I'm sure that the family now has second thoughts and understands that we are the experts in this field. When it comes to transitioning patients from intensive care to a home care environment, and more importantly, keeping them at home predictably, maximizing their quality of life. Because that's what it's all about. There's no quality of life in intensive care, but there's quality of life at home for long-term intensive care patients with intensive care at home. So, in summary, speak to the experts, whether it's, you might be watching this and you're working in an ICU, you might be a doctor, you might be a nurse, you might be a hospital executive watching this thinking, okay, how can I manage my intensive care beds? And how can I, work with my patients to get them home and make sure they get what they need without having them bounce back into ICU all the time, So I hope that makes sense. If you have a family member in a similar situation, talk to us. We can help you with the transition. We can help you with the funding. We can help you with the advocacy. In this situation here, there also was no advocacy. There was no time for it. There was just a mad rush towards something that is unsafe and jeopardize this lady's life. Thankfully, she's now in ICU, and she's been looked after, but going home next time, we can make that happen safely. So now, if you have a loved one in intensive care in a similar situation and needs intensive care at home, please reach out to us. We can help you to take your loved one home. We provide critical care nurses at home 24 hours a day for patients on ventilation with tracheostomy, patients that are not ventilated but have a tracheostomy, adults and children that are on BiPAP, CPAP, home TPN, IV potassium, IV magnesium, IV antibiotics, peak line management, central line management, Hickman's line management, port management, also palliative care at home. Now, we are currently operating all around Australia in all major capital cities, as well as in regional and rural areas. We are an NDIS-approved service provider. We are a TAC-approved service provider in Victoria, an NIISQ-approved service provider in New South Wales, NIISQ-approved service provider in Queensland, iCare-approved service provider in New South Wales, as well as a DVA-approved service provider. We have also received funding through public hospitals, departments of health, as well as through private health funds. So please reach out to us if you need help. And if you're in the US or in the UK and you need help, we can help you there privately. Please reach out to us as well. We're also providing NDIS Level 2 and Level 3 specialist support coordination if you need help with that. We're also providing NDIS nursing assessments if you need help with that. And if you are a critical care nurse and you're looking for a career change, we want to hear from you if you have worked for a minimum of 2 years in critical care, ICU or ED, and if you have completed a postgraduate critical care qualification. We currently have jobs in Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, in Albury, Wodonga on the New South Wales Victorian border, in Bendigo, in country Victoria, as well as in Warragul, country Victoria. We also want to hear from you if you're an intensive care specialist. We're currently expanding our medical team as well. And if you're an intensive care specialist and you have bed blocks in your ICU, which I know you have, then I encourage you to reach out to us as well. We can help you eliminate your bed blocks by taking your patients home, which also includes palliative care for some patients. And we're also providing an ED bypass service for the Western Sydney local area health district. We send our critical care nurses into the home to avoid ED admissions. So if your ED is blocked, bed blocked, we can help you eliminate those bed blocks by bypassing ED and by providing some ED services at home. And if you're a hospital executive watching this, we also want to hear from you because, again, we can help you eliminate your bed blocks in ICU, in ED. We want to hear from you as well. And if you're an NDI support coordinator and you're looking for nursing care for your participants, or you're looking for a nursing assessment for your participants, please reach out to us as well. We can help you with that. Thank you for watching. If you like my videos, subscribe to my YouTube channel for regular updates for families in intensive care and intensive care at home. Click the like button, click the notification bell, share the video with your friends and families, and comment below what you want to see next and what questions and insights you have. Thank you so much for watching. This is Patrick Hutzel from intensivecareathome.com, and I will talk to you in a few days. Take care for now.